Yo, it's me, it's S-C-O-T-T, baby. And I'm back. My review for the 2015 film Avengers, Age of Ultron, starring Robert Downey Jr., Chris Evans, Chris Hemsworth, Mark Ruffalo, Scarlett Johansson, Jeremy Renner, James Spader. Samuel Jackson is directed by the Russo. No, Joss Whedon. My bad. Joss Whedon. I forget he directed this. Us. It's Joss Whedon. Okay, so yeah. So this film, there's a lot of people get down on this film. I think it's okay. I think it's all right. There's some good lines, some good, action scenes and stuff. But it does leave questions. So the end of Iron Man 3, Iron Man destroyed all his suits, took the thing out of him, so he doesn't need that anymore. And you think, okay, Tony Stark's done. Well, then in this one, he's built drone suits. Not just suits, but drone suit warrior things to help them fight. And he's still got Iron Man suits. And he's still Iron Man. And so, what was that? At the end of Iron Man 3? Just, what was the point of that? Makes no sense. There's some things in here that don't carry on either, to be honest. Like Helen Cho, leave her name. What the fuck happened to her? She's in this film, and at the end of this film, they show her and Selvig at the new Avengers facility. We don't see either of them again. So what happened? They don't explain anything. Ultron. I expected Ultron to be bigger. See, we went to see this as a family. It was my mom, my stepdad, my son. We all sat there and watched. I expected Ultron to be a bigger thing. See, they kind of went that direction. In the comics and stuff that I've seen, Ultron, he can't be destroyed. Because if you destroy him, he'll just jump into another robot body, and there you go. But this is why I don't like the one-and-done format for movie villains. Is that there are villains out there in the comics, especially in comic book films, where there were villains in the comics lasted a hell of a lot longer than what the movie dictates that they'd have. Like Ultron and there was another one that couldn't be in Apocalypse. Ultron and Apocalypse are two big, bad guys in the comics, and even the animated series that were made of those comics. They're indestructible. You can't destroy them whatsoever. And then you get them on the big screen, and they're one and done in one film. That's it. Like, they hint at it. There's a scene towards the end where Vision goes off, and he finds the last of Ultron's bodies and destroys it. No. You should have cut that scene, and instead, it should have been a post-credit scene showing one of the bodies still left, crawling around, so that, Ultron's still out there. You don't need to kill off a villain one and done. Ultron could have been just as big. Imagine if Ultron was involved with the Infinity War. Something like that. Just imagine. You only push the Marvel. That's a problem. Well, for all the bragging I do about how Marvel has done so much better than DCEU, that's true. But Marvel's villains haven't necessarily been the best. And that's because they think they always have to do one and done villains. Like Ultron, it needs to be one and done. One film, that's it. He's a villain that could have gone through multiple stories, even if he's not the true focus. Like, you could have had him in not Thor Ragnarok, but he could have popped up in Black Panther. He could have been involved somewhat in the Civil War. He could have showed up in one of the Infinity movies. He doesn't have to be the main story, like the main villain, but he could have been involved in some of it and you just decided no, he's a one and done villain. He's not a one and done villain. That's what always irks me about this movie, is that Ultron could have been done better. Just like Apocalypse could have been done better. They're not one and done villains. They're villains that should be indestructible. He even makes a body out of vibranium, which cannot be destroyed, and he still gets destroyed. It makes no sense to have him one and done. It's always irked me. Also, you introduce both Quicksilver and Scarlet Witch and then kill off Quicksilver. Yes, it's noble how he does it. You didn't see that coming? And I know there was a deleted scene where they show him healing from his wounds because of super speed and stuff, but they cut that out, and so he's still dead. And I know there's rumors that he might be coming back in the WandaVision or the Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness, but who knows? And yeah, just it's confusing. Sylvie gets a cameo here, and where Thor has to go to that cave with the water and see the vision of the Infinity Stones and everything, what's going to bring. And it shows the four that we've seen so far. Blue, red, yellow, and purple. But they don't stop to question, wait, who found the purple one? Because it shows the four that we have seen, that the people at home have seen, have been found in the movies. But Thor doesn't question we haven't seen the purple one, you know? It just shows those four have been found. And he even says, within the last 2 years, 4 Infinity Stones have surfaced. No one questions him saying 4. What do you mean 4? We've only found 3. No one questions this. They just go with 4. The romance between Scarlet Witch, I get confused because it's Scarlett Johansson. Black Widow and Hulk. I never really cared for that. I've always been, Bruce Banner belongs with Betty, but since they wrote Betty off and haven't shown her yet, even though her father shows up for some reason, they just hooked those two up, and it's like, really? Because, like I mentioned in my Avengers review, I firmly believe the original plan was for her and Hawkeye to be a thing. And then when they decided, no, there's better chemistry between Mark Ruffalo and Scarlett Johansson, they switched it and gave Hawkeye a family. And people were thinking, Hawkeye's going to die because they show his family, they show he's got something. It's like, oh, he's going to die. And that scene when bullets are shooting, he's like, he's ready to take him. He turns around to protect the kid, and then Quicksilver takes the bullets. And I noticed something earlier in the film where, there was the Soviet, the guards or whatever, the police had the guns, and they tell them, hold your fire, and one of the policemen shoot the gun, and it hits Quicksilver in the shoulder. He's like, I'm like, was that supposed to be foreshadowing that he's gonna get shot? Was it? Because it's interesting to think about, Tony's motivations in this. So, he gets criticized he gets totally yelled at for creating Ultron. He gets criticized for creating Ultron because he believes he needs a suit of armor around the world, needs to protect the world. He gets criticized for doing that, for creating Ultron. And everything that Ultron's doing is basically on him. And then he's gonna go do the same fucking thing with Vision. How does he not know? How does he know it's not going to be the same thing? It's a different Infinity Stone, but an Infinity Stone that could possibly cause 2 Infinity Stone powered robots to wage war on Earth. Luckily, it's the same Infinity Stone, but still, luckily, Thor had a vision thingy and saw that this vision would be a help. You know? Because otherwise, Captain America was about to punch a bitch. You know? And I'm pretty sure, you know, Quicksilver comes in, he goes, no, please continue, and then he gets shot. He falls down. It was funny because the first time he takes out Hawkeye and he goes, what, you didn't see that coming? And then it's kind of a running gag throughout this film. And then Hawkeye shoots a bullet, for some reason, up, and Quicksilver falls through and he goes, what? You didn't see that coming? And then when he is evidently shot, you didn't see that coming? And yes, by the way, I'm going to go ahead and say it. That's my favorite line of the film. You didn't see that coming? Yeah. And then the language, you know, they hide out in the barn, chopping wood, more talking, but you gotta have some kind of exposition, you know. Yeah, and like the only real new member to the Avengers in this one is Scarlet Witch, which I thought was like, okay, that's another criticism is Falcon shows up for 5 seconds to help out a little bit, and then he's shown at the end with War Machine and the new recruited Avengers. Why weren't Falcon and Hawkeye part of the event? Yes, I know War Machine helped out a little bit, so did Hawkeye, so did Falcon, but they should have been a part of the team, period. I mean, come on. To have cameos in the film that they should have been a part of. When you have Falcon introduced in a previous film, and Rhodey has been a part of this from the beginning. He was played by a different character, but come on. I'm just saying. James Spader as Ultron with the voice, I think he does a good job. We get introduced to Claw here, and he gets his arm chopped off, and you think it's going to be really important when it comes to in the future, because Wakanda, you think, okay, Black Panther's going to be part of Black Panther. I thought he was going to show up in Civil War, to be honest, but he doesn't. He's going to be part of Black Panther, and it's like, okay. And then I'll talk about it when we get to Black Panther, what they do with him in Black Panther. To quote Shania Twain, that don't impress me much. But yeah, overall, this movie's pretty good. I understand the hate for it. Some people would just, or, you know, like, people talk down about it. I get it. When you have Ultron going around doing stuff and you dedicate a full 20 minutes to a fight between a superpowered Iron Man and the Hulk because the Hulk gets loose, it's kind of like, because watching it this time, I that's a big part of where, like, okay, you got Ultron causing hell in Wakanda, and then the Hulk is unleashed by Wanda's power or whatever. And then it's just a big 20 minutes or so of him and Iron Man in the new big Hulkbuster suit just fighting for no fucking reason other than to have a big action scene in the middle of the film. You could have done that. I mean, you were in the middle of an action scene with Ultron and you decided, no, we gotta have the Hulk involved in this one. And that's just because you felt like, because the Hulk was in the movie, you have to have a scene of the Hulk rampaging. Which, by this point, due to the fact that it didn't even make any sense in the first Avengers movie, because he went on a rampage, and then in the end, basically told us he could control it because he's always angry. Well, then why did you go on a rampage? You could say he was, like, hypnotized by the Mind Stone or something, but it shows that in the first one, he got knocked down. And he got angry, and that's how he became the Hulk. But if he was already angry, then it shouldn't have affected him. You know what I'm saying? And, you know, I know he mentioned that he tried to put a bullet in his brain, and the big guy spit it out. So, yeah. But, and, you know, other than Wanda and some of the dialogue that Iron Man says later in, like, Infinity War and stuff, they don't carry much on for this. Like I said, Helen Cho. They don't talk about her. Selvig's not mentioned anymore. There's a scene where Nick Fury is talking to Black Widow and shows that the Quinjet may have set down in the ocean, but we know he landed on another fucking planet. So that's not true. So they don't even go by that. A lot of the things in this film don't carry on to the other films because they decide to go a different direction with it, and I don't know. It makes it inconsequential in the long run. But yeah, it's a decent film. I'm gonna give it a 7 out of 10. I don't like it as much as the first one, and all the other Avengers ones are better. But I'm gonna give it a 7 out of 10. I already told you my favorite line. You didn't see that coming. Just 7 out of 10. So what are your thoughts on Avengers: Age of Ultron? Leave them in the comments below. Like, share, and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.